even before I came out to myself or to others, like I was already like surprise surprise, most of my friends were trans. And almost like I was friends with people that I could relate to. Huh. But I was like having, friends of mine who were non-binary who wanted to learn Yiddish from me, and one of their first questions was, are there gender neutral terms that I can use for myself? Like, what is Yiddish is a gendered language, and is there a way that I can learn Yiddish in a way that is like that matches my gender identity? And that led me, and so once like that led me to start thinking about that more. And then when I came out as non-binary, that was like, okay, this is no longer a hypothetical, like theoretical question. This is a question of how do I talk about myself in Yiddish? Like, how do I talk about my experience and my life and my existence and my identity in the Yiddish language, which is like, which I consider to be a core part of my identity. So I start putting together this list and I'm working on it. And then um, uh soon after, so like that big like Daniel Kahn and the Painted Bird concert happened in November. The next January, like the next like end of December, beginning of January, was Yiddish New York, which is a like annual Yiddish klezmer festival that happens in New York City, that I like applied to, got a scholarship for, and um, like learned a bunch of great klezmer things, but also crucially, I made a lot of connections with other gender nonconforming Yiddishists. And at that, and like, I basically was like, hey, let's have lunch, let's figure this shit out. Like I have some questions, like how do we handle feminine suffixes in Yiddish? How do we handle gendered articles in Yiddish? How do we do these things? What are good transgender terms for this and this? Like, let's figure this out. I am calling a congress. Um and like, the next year I came back to Yiddish New York and there was a bigger group of us, and we were like, the organizers of the event like totally approved of like me making an announcement on the main board saying like, hey, there's going to be a Yiddish gender discussion in this room at this time. Um and like we and like from that just group of like small handful of folks, we started developing gender inclusive language in Yiddish. Like all the things that I've been saying the past couple of years of like, how feminine suffixes in Yiddish are obsolete, that much like how folks can choose their own pronouns, folks can also choose their own gender articles. So like, some like, the word for teacher in Yiddish is lehrer, and it used to be that it's like, oh, a male teacher is lehrer and like der Lehrer, and a female teacher is die Lehrerin or die Lehrerke. And we were like, okay, no, that's bullshit. It should be, you know, he should be der Lehrer, she should be die Lehrer, and like they should be das Lehrer, and that is okay. Um, and yeah, so that like a lot of my Yiddish activism, a lot of my Yiddish queer activism that I've been doing the last couple of years, that I think is what led me to be on a list of contemporary Yiddishists, basically stems from that. Just like, you know, me putting together a Google Doc because I didn't see anyone else doing it, and then going to a festival, seeing as like, and roping in as many like gender weird folks as I can to like have lunch with me and talk about this shit. Um, and from there, like I came back to Seattle and